What is going on, guys? Happy New Year's. It is Sean GPT here. Today, we are going to be taking a look at one of the most premium holsters that you can buy out on the market today, and that is the QVO Wingman. In the video, we're going to be covering the entire unboxing experience when you get this holster in the mail. I'll share my thoughts and reviews of the setup, and then we'll go over how I like to wear the holster and show some video clips of how well it conceals between me wearing jeans, sweatpants, and even like basketball shorts. So you don't want to miss that part. If you've seen my previous videos on the channel, then you know that this holster was ordered on Black Friday for my P365 build that I did. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. If you have, then you'll know I got the thumb safety installed finally, so there's no more hole in the back of my Sig. Also, guys, stay tuned because I will be displaying a coupon code on the screen at some point for the video. This is for their QVO New Year's Day sale that they're running. It's for the entire website, so whether you need a holster, mag carriers, anything like that, that code will work. So stay tuned for that, guys. All right, guys, so we're actually outside of the studio here on the steps because I couldn't even wait to get this thing inside. Very nice bag here. I actually use these to store other parts, so definitely recycle what you can. All right, we're just going to jump right into the star of the show here. Look at that. QVO Wingman for the Icarus Air Polymer Sig P365 frame, X macro length. So it fits that Radiant comp in there with the extra mag. I mean, guys, look at that. With the metal wing, that looks awesome. Man, the fabric they use is just so vibrant. Like, even on camera, I'm having a hard time picking up how red this is. This is like a really, like a bright blood red. And I mean, like the finish of it is just insane. Look at that. This isn't the first time I've had a dragon print either, and I can tell you, even after everyday carrying, this fabric holds up so well, even with like a belt rubbing against it. I mean, like they just use really high quality materials. Just look at that. Incredible. I think the red dragon's probably my favorite. I've had a blue wingman as well as a silver, more discreet in the dragon print. The silver one was awesome. I'll drop a picture of that here if I can find one, but no, the red, that's definitely my favorite. So what else do you get in the package here? I took the sheet out because it has my address on it, so obviously I don't want that on the internet. But get a QVO slap and the air freshener. So I have one of these in my truck right now. I'll drop the video. Yeah, this thing smells insane. I love this. I really, really, really like this air freshener. I actually want to know what like scent it is because I'd like to just always have that in the truck. I guess I'll just have to keep buying more holsters. So there's that. And then last but not least, we have the tech deck. And it's a different one. I haven't had this one before. That's sweet. All right, we'll get back to the bench and we'll keep going over the review. All right, so taking a deeper look at the holster here, again, I just want to reiterate how good this looks. I just love the overall print as well as the quality of the fabric. You can see the different textures in there really well, and the red just looks great against the black contrast. So I really couldn't be happier with it. As for the overall durability of these fabric overlays, I can only speak on the cotton ones because those are the only ones I've owned from QVO. I had that more discreet holster that you guys saw on video there during the unboxing with that Staccato CS. The only problem I ran into was some fraying near the bottom here, which is to be expected. They cannot burn in this specific fabric overlay into the Kydex on the corners, so that just happens. It's super easy to take care of. Using scissors, medical shears, or even like nail clippers can really make that easy to trim up. It really doesn't take that long to get it looking brand new again. The only other problem I have is sometimes that they get these like little snags here near the bottom of the fabric for one reason or another. And again, those are super easy to manage, but I wanted to leave that on there. I could have easily cleaned it up, but I want to be transparent with what I show you guys, especially when it comes to a product review. As for the overall build quality of the holster, I couldn't be happier. They use a 0.08 inch Kydex for the main part of like the holster build, and I think that's a great bridge between keeping it very thin in terms of concealability while still making it very structurally sound and making it high quality. The durability and longevity is never questioned in these holsters. I think that these are made to last a very long time for you. I forgot to mention as well, you definitely can adjust the retention of the firearm as well as the magazine. So right here, you can see in this donut ring, the holster indexes on the light since this is a light bearing holster. So you can cinch this down pretty tight. I usually just try to hold it upside down and shake it. If it's not going anywhere, then I really don't think it's going to be a huge problem. You get a nice positive click when you reholster. So that's definitely my favorite part of having Kydex holsters. Just sounds good, and it's very confidence inspiring when you holster up. For the mag, it's just right here. It indexes, I think, on where like the actual mag release indexes, where there's little nubs in here. So you can tighten that up. I have the mag pretty tight in there just because this is where my body seems to hit it the most, is right on this corner here. So I just don't want the mag to accidentally fall out if I'm bending over or something, or, you know, it's just not a good look if your mag falls out. So having that in there, it's tight enough where it's not going to fall out, but it's also loose enough where I can get to it with both hands if I need to with no problem. I'm definitely a really big fan of how slim the holster is in general, as you can see from the bottom here. As we turn it to the side, we can see the design of the holster tapers upwards towards the mouth. And we'll touch on that in a second, but the reason that I can really appreciate this is that in today's world, a concealed carry gun doesn't necessarily have to be the shortest slide or the smallest grip. They really focus on how thin they can make these firearms. And that's really what makes the platform beautiful with the Sig P365, is how slim it is. But you have to have a holster that complements that. So as we can see, gun in the holster, it's really not adding any unnecessary thickness that you don't need. As we can see here, the mouth is tapered outwards, and that is to aid in reholstering your firearm. So making it easy to reholster is very important. If you've ever drawn from Appendix or carried a firearm in the Appendix position, then you know that reholstering can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge to get used to. It's especially hard under stress. Like even when I'm practicing with my timer, sometimes it's a little hard that, you know, just to get the gun back in there securely every single time, but it's a really important aspect of the holster. So I'm really glad that they added this little flare. It does not affect the concealability of the holster whatsoever. It's just a really nice creature comfort. While we're speaking about other features, I really like the high sweat guard on the magazine for both comfort as well as indexing the mag back into the holster. It makes it super easy. Anything to help indexing the mags, in my opinion, is very helpful if you have to do some kind of administrative reload or retention reload. And while we're on that subject, you can access the full mag release button outside of the holster. So I really like that, as well as the fact that it covers the safety on the body side of the holster. It's just really nice in terms of design. I suppose it is time that we address the elephant in the room with this holster, and that is the lack of flexibility between the pistol part and the magazine carrier. We've all seen with the T-Rex Arms sidecar and the Tier 1 Concealed Axis Elite that they have their own proprietary systems to allow the holster to flex in the middle, while the QVO Wingman does not have that. It took about like 10 minutes of wearing this holster to understand why that is a thing, and I realized that this is actually a huge design feature within this holster itself. As you can see here, the natural curvature of the holster mimics the human body and makes everything look a little more natural once it's in your pants. The holster itself does flex a little bit when it's pressed up against your body, so it's not uncomfortable for me by any means. We'll speak on that in a second, but I love the structural integrity of this holster that this provides with no flexibility in the middle. What this does is it really eliminates any kind of weird bulging that you get from appendix carrying. I'm sure at some point, most of you guys, if you've tried appendix carrying before, then you know that there are some holsters that just make it look like you have like an unnatural bulge on your waistline. I've had that personally with a lot of different holsters, and even the QVO one, the more discreet, added just like this little weird bulge on my 1 o'clock side that was kind of noticeable when I was looking at myself like long ways from the side. So this holster, especially if you're draping a t-shirt over it, helps a ton to conceal it. So in terms of the actual comfort of the holster, this is something that's very hard to speak about as a reviewer because everyone's body type is very different, and the actual comfort of the holster is very subjective to each person that's wearing it. What I can say for as someone that's about 5'8" and 175 pounds is that I find this holster to be very comfortable, but also very stable. There are some adjustments that you can make on the clips itself. If you choose these thin clips, you can adjust the cant as well as the ride height. So I have this riding a little bit lower. I also really like the metal concealment wing. I think between those things, this holster just stays glued to the inside of my pants. And like when I'm drawing, reholstering it, it just does not move. And you'll see that in the video here. But I just, I'm super happy with it overall. As you can see here, the way that the holster is structured with this extra part that doesn't flex in the middle, this really helps keep it rigid inside of your pants without becoming uncomfortable. You'll see that there's this little pocket here that makes a triangle, and this allows air to move inside of the holster through like the different channels, and that really helps with the kydex being against your body. I personally really like just having straight kydex on my body. I've tried the different wedges and pillows, and I just find them to bulge weird, but I'm really happy with the overall feeling of the holster. I don't get any hot spots personally, and that's like number one for comfort for me is if the holster creates a hot spot, I can't wear it. It's just unbearable in the appendix position, and it's just not pleasant. So I'm super happy that this holster feels really good. Due to the way it's molded, there's really no like weird bulges in here that would rub against your body to a point of causing discomfort. And I'm just super happy with it in general. One of the big ways that I also judge the comfort of the holster is really like the concessions that you have to make to wear the holster. And what I mean by that is if you have to change anything in your life or the way you do something to accommodate the holster, whether it's bending over, sitting down, driving, stuff like that. So in my own personal experience, I don't have to change a thing about this holster. Once I adjusted the clips to ride a little deeper, it sat perfectly against my body while I was driving, where this wasn't hitting anything at the bottom here, and the holster itself was just pulled up against me. I really didn't have to worry about this like rubbing against the inside of my thigh or anything like that, so I was super happy about it. If I was to drop something and have to bend over to pick it up, I don't really have to change anything here, so a lot of times with a holster, when you are wearing it, so you see this is up against your body. If you bend over forward, the holster is going to want to move away from you. And a lot of them do that. In my experience, that was one of the reasons I stopped carrying my Tier 1 Axis Elite was because when I would bend forward, the holster would just go away from me. And with this holster, it just stays glued to like my stomach, essentially. It just stays right up against my body. I'm super happy about that. That was a huge feature for me. I'm not sure what part of the design actually does that, whether it's just like the ride height of the clips or, you know, just the rigidity in general, but I could not be happier with how that sat when I'm bending over. All right, so before I share my closing thoughts here, right here is going to be that coupon code for the sale. So this is site-wide for New Year's Day. Definitely keep that in mind. If you need something, check out their site. They might have it, even if you're not looking for a holster. But if you are, now is the time to do it while it's on sale. So final thoughts on this holster. I had a lot of concerns going into it, and most of them resided in the fact that it does not have any flexibility in the middle of the holster. I didn't know how much that was going to affect the comfort and the wearability of the holster itself, but after being able to test this one out, I've realized that maybe like 5%, if that, in terms of the comfort, is coming from this being flexible, but a lot of concealability resides in the fact that this is actually rigid. Being able to maintain that structural integrity while you're wearing it is just crucial to making the holster seem thinner than what it really is when it comes to contouring around the body. And I really didn't have any kind of problems when it came to the comfort of it. If anything, I think it's a little more comfortable because the air is flowing in here and this doesn't get sticky to my body. But I'm a really big fan of the overall workmanship of this. I like the moldings a lot. I think they're very accurate to the firearm. I was able to find a holster specific to the Icarus Air polymer frame, and there's not a lot of other companies that are making holsters for it. So that shows a lot of QVO in terms of their care for ingenuity in the field of firearms. If you check out their website, you'll see that they make a lot of different holsters for various manufacturers, some being pretty hard to find an independent holster for that's specifically designed to the frame and not just the light. So that's awesome. I really do think QVO Tactical is a great company in the firearms industry. I think that they're always innovating great products, but they're also educating people in a really fun way with their content that they make. So it's a brand I can really get behind. That being said, I really do think the product does live up to the hype. I love the QVO Wingman holster. This is going to be my new Appendix rig for all of 2025 and the foreseeable future. If you guys are on the fence, I say pull the trigger. I really do like the overall design of this. If you haven't tried a rigid Appendix rig before, then I would definitely try it now. I think that this is going to change a lot of people's minds on how these Appendix rigs should be. All right, so to end today's video, I just want to leave this with you guys as a huge thank you. In the last 2 weeks, I couldn't have imagined how many views I'd get on these videos. In the grand scheme of things, you know, it's not a ton compared to like the big time YouTubers, but I want you guys to know it means the absolute world to me. When I made the SIG video, I was hoping for 5,000 views in 1 year of the video being up, and it hit 11,000 views in like 2 weeks at the time of making this video. And I just truly could not thank you guys enough for that support. It means so much to me, and it allows me to keep creating videos that I like doing, and hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. I want you to know that I truly do value your guys' time, and I understand that time is the most valuable thing a person has. So I don't take it lightly when someone spends their time watching my content, and I just truly appreciate it. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so again, please feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and we'll see you guys on the next one.